Sometimes the message you're waiting for from Allah doesn't arrive wrapped in words. It arrives wrapped in moments. There are times you stand in the middle of your life confused, tired, and wondering why your heart feels heavier than usual. You look at your plans, your dreams, your efforts, and you whisper, "Why Allah? What do you want me to do?" And right there, in that whisper, a message begins. Allah sends you messages not only through verses you read, but through the quiet shifts in your life, the door that unexpectedly closes, the opportunity that vanishes, the person who walks away, the moment that humbles you, or the delay you never asked for. We think guidance must be loud, but often it is soft, almost silent, so that you must pause, breathe, and truly listen. Cloud with rain, when Allah sends a message through hardship, when your heart breaks, it is not always a punishment, it is often a redirection. A way of Allah saying, "This is not where you belong. I'm pulling you away for a reason you cannot see yet." Think about the storms in your life. Some storms clear your path, others strengthen your roots. But each storm carries a message: come back to me, rely on me, let go of what harms you. I am with you. Your tears are not unnoticed. Your silence is not ignored. Your patience is never wasted. When you feel everything collapsing, sometimes it's just Allah clearing space for something better. Sparkles when Allah sends a message through delay. You ask, you pray, you hope, and yet nothing moves. And you wonder, why is Allah not giving me what I want? But the truth is, Allah doesn't only give when you are ready to receive. He gives when what you're asking for is ready to meet you. If your dua feels unanswered, it may be that Allah is shaping you into the person who can carry that blessing with wisdom, gratitude, and strength. Delay is not denial. Delay is preparation. Sometimes the message is, "I love you too much to give you something at the wrong time." Then there are moments when everything inside you becomes strangely calm. Nothing externally changed, but you changed. You accept, you trust, you breathe, you surrender. And that inner peace, that clarity that washes over your heart without explanation, that is a message too. A message that says, you are exactly where I want you to be. Keep walking. Allah may send someone who teaches you patience, someone who brings out your kindness, someone who challenges your ego, someone who reminds you of Allah, someone who leaves so you learn to rely on the one who never does. Nothing is accidental. Not the meeting, not the goodbye, not the lesson. Every soul you encounter carries a message meant to shape your own. When life confuses you, it's easy to think Allah is silent. But Allah is never silent. He is guiding you in ways you feel before you understand. The message is in your setbacks. The message is in your longing. The message is in the strength you didn't know you had. The message is in the patience He's building within you. You want to rush. Allah wants to prepare. You want the outcome. Allah wants your growth. So today, take a breath and whisper, "Why, Allah? I may not understand your plan right now, but I trust that it's leading me to something beautiful." Walk with renewed faith. Walk with patience. Walk knowing that every moment, every joy, every trial, every pause is a message from the one who loves you more than you will ever comprehend. When Allah sends you a subtle sign, it often arrives long before your eyes notice it. It begins quietly, deep inside the heart, like a soft breeze brushing against your soul. You may feel it as a restlessness you can't explain, a discomfort that pushes you away from something once familiar, or a sudden calmness that settles over you in moments you thought would break you. These subtle signs are among the most beautiful forms of divine communication because they invite you to pause, reflect, and reconnect with the one who created your heart to feel what your mind has not yet understood. It is through these quiet moments that Allah teaches you to listen not with your ears, but with your soul. Sometimes, a subtle sign appears when something you once desired suddenly loses its shine. You may have prayed for it, planned around it, imagined it shaping your future, but out of nowhere, your heart shifts. What once felt right now feels heavy. What once gave you excitement now brings unease. And you don't know why. You try to push the feeling aside, forcing yourself to continue. But the heaviness remains, persistent and gentle. That heaviness is not random. It is a sign, a whisper from your Lord saying, "This is not what I have written for you. Trust that I am redirecting your heart for your own good." Other times the sign is the opposite. It is an unexplainable peace. You may face a decision that people around you don't understand. They question your choices, your resilience, your direction. They point out risks, obstacles, uncertainties. But despite all their voices, something in your chest remains settled. There is a quiet certainty, a knowing, a tranquility that cannot come from logic alone. This peace is one of Allah's most powerful signs because it reveals that when He places something in your heart, no amount of fear or doubt can remove it. Peace that doesn't make sense to the world is often the clearest message from the one who controls the world. Sometimes subtle signs come through discomfort. You may feel constantly uneasy doing something that others see as harmless. You may feel distant from environments that once made you feel alive. Your heart may pull you away from conversations, habits, or places you once enjoyed. You may not fully understand why, but you feel a gentle tug every time you try to go back. That tug is protection. That discomfort is mercy. Allah is removing you from what may harm your spiritual state in ways your eyes haven't witnessed. He is pulling you out before you fall deeper, before you attach too strongly, before you lose pieces of yourself you may never recover easily. His signs are often disguised as discomfort so that you rise, grow, and return to a better version of yourself. Another subtle sign is repetition. When a message appears again and again in different places, different people, different moments, it is not a coincidence. You may hear the same reminder repeatedly, feel pushed toward the same direction, or encounter the same lesson in various forms. Repetition is Allah's way of emphasizing what you keep overlooking. Sometimes you ignore the first sign. The second one seems too small to notice. But the third, fourth, and fifth, by then it becomes impossible to pretend it means nothing. Allah repeats signs because He is patient with your hesitation. He guides you gently, consistently, compassionately, until your heart finally turns toward the truth He wants you to embrace. There are also signs that come from inner conflict. You may wake up feeling like something in your life no longer aligns with who you are becoming. You want to move forward, but something inside you keeps pulling you back. You want to let go, yet a fear grips you. You want to stay, but your heart begins detaching. This conflict is often the beginning of a transformation. It is Allah preparing you for change, even if you're not ready to accept it. Inner conflict is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of growth. It means your soul is recalibrating, shedding what no longer serves your faith, and making space for what will elevate you. There are moments when the sign is silence. You keep praying, asking, searching for clarity, but no clear answer comes. This silence is not absence, it is guidance. Through silence, Allah teaches patience, humility, and trust. He gives your heart room to reflect, so that when clarity arrives, you recognize it instantly. Silence is a sign that invites you to look inward, strengthen your connection, and deepen your reliance on the one who knows what you do not. And sometimes, Allah sends signs through sudden awareness. A door closes unexpectedly. A person leaves without explanation. A plan falls apart right when you thought it was perfect. In those moments, your heart may break, but hidden beneath the sorrow is a truth you'll understand later. Allah saved you from something you were too hopeful to see clearly. When something is removed abruptly, it is often a sign that Allah has protected you from a path that was never meant for your soul. These subtle signs are divine invitations, gentle reminders that Allah is closer to you than your own heartbeat, guiding you even in the moments you feel most lost. They teach you to slow down, pay attention, and trust that nothing you feel deeply is without purpose. When you learn to recognize these whispers, your entire life becomes a conversation with your Creator, filled with meaning, direction, and a closeness that transforms every moment into a sign of His love. When Allah sends a message through tests, it often arrives wrapped in experiences that shake you, humble you, and force you to see life from a completely different angle. These moments of pain, delay, confusion, or loss are not random. They are crafted with precision and mercy, woven into your life at the exact moment you need them, even if they feel unbearable. A test is not simply difficulty, it is a conversation between your heart and your Creator. It is a moment where Allah says, without words, there is something within you that I want to strengthen, soften, elevate, or purify. But the human heart resists hardship, so the message often reveals itself slowly, through reflection, patience, and submission. When a test arrives, your first reaction may be bewilderment. You may look at your life and wonder, why now? Why me? What did I do wrong? But the truth is, tests are rarely punishments. More often, they are redirections. They come to pull you away from paths that would have harmed your faith, your peace, or your future. They come to detach your heart from what you were holding on to too tightly. They come to remind you that this world is not your final home, that your soul has a deeper purpose than comfort and ease. Sometimes what feels like your life falling apart is actually your life falling into place, just not in the way you expected. Tests also expose what is hidden inside you. When everything is going smoothly, it is easy to say you trust Allah. It is easy to speak of gratitude, patience, humility, and faith. But when life suddenly closes in around you, when you lose something you loved, when a door slams shut, when a dream slips out of reach, your true spiritual state emerges. That moment of breaking is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to reveal you. It shows you where you need growth. It shows you where your dependence truly lies. It shows you what attachments are pulling you down and what fears are limiting you. Some lessons only rise to the surface when you are placed in difficulty. There is a special kind of test that comes in the form of delay. When Allah withholds something from you, it can feel more painful than losing something you already had. You wait, you pray, you hope, and yet the thing you desire doesn't come. This waiting period is one of the most powerful messages Allah sends. It teaches you to let go of the illusion of control, to surrender your timeline, and to trust that Allah's plan is rooted in wisdom far beyond your understanding. Delay is where your faith either weakens or deepens. It is where you learn that your dua is never ignored, even if the answer is postponed. It is where you discover that the thing you're asking for is being shaped, polished, and prepared for the exact moment it will benefit you most. Tests also come to protect you. Allah removes people, opportunities, or situations that would have damaged your heart in ways you may never realize. Sometimes what you perceive as loss is actually protection so deep and so merciful that you will only understand it years later. How many times have you cried over something you thought would break you, only to later say, if that had not happened, I wouldn't be who I am today? This is the hidden beauty of Allah's tests. They hurt in the moment, but they heal your future. A test can also be a message telling you to return. When you drift from prayer, lose touch with remembrance, or become absorbed in the distractions of life, Allah may shake your heart with a moment of difficulty. Not to punish you, but to call you back. Hardship often reconnects you to your Creator faster than blessings do, because pain forces you to seek comfort beyond the material world. It softens the ego, humbles the spirit, and lifts the veil from your heart. The moment you fall into sujood with sincerity, crying not out of despair but longing, is the moment you realize that even the test was a mercy. Tests also teach you about patience, not the passive kind of patience that simply waits, but the deep patience that trusts, accepts, and stays steady even when the outcome is unseen. This kind of patience transforms you. It teaches you to surrender your worries to the one who knows the unseen. It teaches you that patience is an act of faith, a statement of trust, a declaration of hope. Every moment of patience you show during hardship is a seed planted for future blessings. And perhaps the most profound message sent through tests is the reminder that Allah never burdens a soul beyond what it can bear. You may feel overwhelmed, but the fact that the test has reached you means you are strong enough to carry it. Allah knows your strength better than you do. He sees the potential hidden inside you, the resilience you haven't discovered yet, the depth of faith you've never tapped into. A test is often the doorway to becoming who you were meant to be. So when Allah tests you, the message is this: you are not alone. I am with you. I am guiding you. I am protecting you. I am shaping you. Trust me. Moments of stillness are some of the most profound ways Allah sends guidance. These are the moments when life becomes quiet enough for your heart to finally hear what it has been drowning out with noise, distractions, plans, and expectations. Stillness does not always mean silence around you. It means silence within you. It is the pause between two difficult chapters, the breath between two heavy decisions, the calm that follows an exhausting storm. In these pauses, Allah delivers messages that can reshape your entire outlook on life if you're willing to slow down and listen. Stillness often arrives at unexpected times. Sometimes it comes after you have cried to the point where you have no tears left, and suddenly your heart becomes calm. That calmness is not accidental. It is Allah gently placing peace inside you to remind you that He has heard your pain even before the words left your lips. This peace does not necessarily solve your problems, but it shifts something inside you, your perspective, your emotions, your ability to breathe again. In that moment, the message is simple: I am here. You are safe with me. Other times, stillness comes when you are forced to pause. You may fall ill, lose motivation, face unexpected delays, or find yourself unable to move forward. Life suddenly slows down, and you can no longer push yourself at the speed you once did. At first, this pause may frustrate you. You may wonder why everything has come to a standstill, why your plans are frozen, why the world seems to be moving while you remain stuck. But in reality, this stillness is a divine intervention. Allah stops you not to hold you back, but to protect you, redirect you, or prepare you. What feels like stagnation is often preparation for something greater. In stillness, truths that were hidden become clear. You begin to see relationships for what they truly are, not what you wanted them to be. You begin to understand that certain plans you held onto were not built on sincerity, faith, or wisdom, but on impulse or fear. You begin to recognize your own weaknesses and strengths more honestly. Stillness gives you the space to reflect, something most people avoid because reflection often reveals uncomfortable truths. Yet these truths are necessary for growth. Allah uses stillness to show you what noise has been hiding. Stillness is also where clarity is born. When you rush through life, decisions are made out of pressure rather than purpose. But when everything slows down, you begin to see your path with fresh eyes. A decision you couldn't make for months suddenly feels obvious. A problem you thought was impossible begins to look manageable. The heart that was full of confusion feels guided. Clarity is one of the most powerful messages Allah places in stillness, because it does not come from logic alone, it comes from alignment with Him. One of the greatest forms of stillness is the stillness found in sujud. When your forehead touches the ground, the world stops moving for a moment. Your fears pause, your regrets pause, your stress pauses. In that position, you are closest to the one who created you, and the whispers of your soul become louder than the noise of the world. Many people cry in sujud not just because of sadness, but because they feel a message in their heart that words cannot describe, an unspoken reassurance that their Lord knows them, sees them, and is holding them through every difficulty. Stillness also teaches reliance. When everything becomes quiet, you no longer have anything to depend on except Allah. You can't distract yourself, you can't run away from your emotions, and you can't pretend the pain isn't there. In that raw vulnerability, you learn that Allah is enough. This is where faith deepens not in noise, but in stillness. The message hidden in these moments is powerful. Rely on me. I am sufficient for you. Sometimes the message in stillness is a reminder to let go. You may have been holding on to something, a person, a dream, a plan, or a version of yourself that is no longer good for your heart. Stillness gives you the space to detach gently. You realize that no matter how tightly you hold on, what isn't meant for you will never bring you peace. So instead of fighting, you begin to surrender. That surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the realization that your heart belongs to the one who knows what you cannot see. There are also moments when stillness brings gratitude. You look around and notice blessings you overlooked while rushing. You notice the softness of a quiet morning, the warmth of a comforting prayer, the sweetness of a sincere conversation, the beauty of being alive. Gratitude often grows in silence because the heart finally has the space to recognize what truly matters. Ultimately, stillness is a sacred message from Allah reminding you that not every step forward requires movement. Sometimes the greatest progress happens when you stop, breathe, reflect, and realign your heart with your Creator. In stillness, you rediscover your purpose, you regain your strength, you reconnect with your faith. You realize that Allah has been guiding you all along through the noise, through the chaos, and especially through the quiet moments you once feared. The message is simple yet profound. When life becomes still, it is because Allah is preparing your heart for something greater. Allow the stillness to speak. Allow your heart to soften. Allow your soul to listen. People and events in your life are never random. Every soul you meet, every encounter you experience, Every coincidence that feels too precise to be accidental is placed in your path with intention and wisdom. Allah sends messages through people long before you realize the purpose behind their presence. Some come into your life like gentle breezes, offering comfort, kindness, or support during a time you didn't even know you needed it. Others arrive like storms, shaking you, challenging you, or teaching you lessons that shape your character. Every person you meet is carrying something for you, a reminder, a test, a blessing, or a turning point. It may take months or years to understand why they came, but Allah knew before you ever crossed paths. Sometimes Allah sends someone to guide you back to Him. It could be a friend who inspires you to reconnect with your prayers, someone who reminds you of your worth when you've forgotten it, or a stranger whose simple kindness softens a heart that was slowly hardening. These people do not appear by mistake. They are placed gently into your life at moments of vulnerability or confusion because Allah knows exactly when your heart needs a human reminder of His mercy. These souls become lanterns in your darkness, guiding you without even realizing the role they've been assigned. Their presence is a message: I have not left you alone. Other people come into your life to teach you patience. They may frustrate you, hurt you, or test your boundaries in ways that force you to confront your weakness or pride. You might wonder why certain personalities drain your energy or why certain relationships repeat the same painful patterns. But these individuals are also messengers in their own way. They reveal your flaws, your wounds, and your unhealed parts. They show you what you need to work on: your temper, your expectations, your dependence, or your tendency to hold on too tightly. Without these difficult interactions, growth would be slow and shallow. Through them, Allah teaches you resilience, forgiveness, humility, and emotional maturity. Sometimes the message is in the person who leaves. Their absence echoes louder than their presence ever did. You may feel abandoned, heartbroken, or stunned by how quickly someone can exit your life. But departures are never random either. People leave when their part in your story is complete. They leave to make space for healing, to make room for someone better, or to protect you from a future that you cannot yet foresee. Losing someone you love can feel like a punishment, but often it is protection. Allah removes people whose presence would block your growth or distract you from your purpose. Their absence is a message: you are depending on the wrong heart. Events in your life also carry powerful messages. A job you desperately wanted but didn't get, a plan that fell apart at the last moment, a sudden opportunity that seemed to come out of nowhere. These experiences are all woven with divine intention. Many times, you only understand the wisdom behind them when you look back and realize how one small event shifted everything. A delay prevented you from harm. A failure pushed you onto a better path. An unexpected success came right when your faith needed a boost. Life is not a chain of coincidences, it is a pattern of precise decisions crafted by the one who sees what you cannot. Even minor encounters hold significance. A random conversation may answer a question you've been asking in your heart. A passing comment might inspire you to change something in your life. A moment of kindness from a stranger might restore hope you thought you lost. Allah uses people to deliver messages gently, subtly, and often without them even realizing their role in your life. It is through these small encounters that He reminds you of His closeness. Sometimes the message is found in disappointment. You may attend an event expecting happiness, but leave with a heavy heart. You may trust someone who breaks your trust. You may invest in something that gives you nothing in return. But disappointment is one of the clearest forms of guidance. It reveals what doesn't belong in your life. It separates you from what would have weakened your spirit. It refocuses your heart on what truly matters. Every disappointment carries a wisdom you will understand later, when the pieces of your life realign into something better. There are also moments when someone enters your life briefly, so briefly that you barely have time to understand their impact. Yet they leave an imprint that changes something within you. These short encounters are messages in disguise, reminders that even fleeting moments can carry deep meaning. Someone may comfort you at a time when you are breaking, advise you when you are lost, or inspire you when you are losing hope. Their purpose was not to stay, but to deliver the exact message you needed at that exact moment. In the end, the message behind people and events is simple but profound. Allah is constantly guiding you. He places the right souls in your life at the right time, removes others when their purpose is fulfilled, and orchestrates events with perfect precision. Nothing happens without reason. If you slow down, reflect, and open your heart, you will see that every person and every moment is part of a divine conversation shaping who you are becoming. Responding to the message from Allah requires a heart that is willing to trust, surrender, and act even when the path ahead isn't fully clear. When you begin recognizing the subtle signs, the tests, the moments of stillness, and the people and events placed in your life, the next step is not simply to understand them, it is to respond to them. This response is where transformation begins. It is where faith becomes action, where trust becomes movement, and where spiritual awareness becomes a lived reality. The message itself may come quietly, but how you respond determines how deeply it shapes your life. The first part of responding to Allah's message is acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you have no emotions or that you feel nothing when something challenging happens. It means you choose to believe that Allah's wisdom surpasses your own. You stop fighting the reality placed before you. You unclench the fist holding on to what Allah is trying to remove. You release your grip on what was never meant for you. Acceptance brings peace because it aligns your heart with divine decree. It allows you to take a step back and say, if this is what Allah has written, then there is goodness in it, even if I cannot see it now. Acceptance is not resignation, it is faith. It is the heart's recognition that Allah does not make mistakes in His timing or His decisions. After acceptance comes trust, deep, unwavering trust in Allah's timing. Trust is not simply believing that things will work out, it is believing that they are already unfolding exactly as they should. Trust means no longer demanding answers immediately, no longer rushing the process, no longer doubting your worth or your future because something is delayed. Trust means you allow Allah to write your story instead of trying to control every page of it. And this trust becomes easier when you reflect on how Allah has carried you through moments you once thought would break you. Trust also grows when you remind yourself that Allah sees every tear, every effort, every silent prayer whispered late at night. Nothing escapes His knowledge. When you truly trust His timing, you stop panicking when something doesn't go according to your plan. You understand that delays, detours, and redirections are signs of divine care, not abandonment. Responding to the message also means letting go of what weighs you down. Many people ask Allah for guidance, clarity, and blessings while tightly holding on to habits, relationships, or environments that contradict what they are praying for. Letting go is one of the hardest forms of obedience because it requires choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. It requires bravery. It requires faith. You may have to let go of a person who doesn't align with your values, a dream that is no longer tied to your spiritual well-being, or a version of yourself that is rooted in fear rather than faith. Letting go creates space for growth, space for new blessings, space for the things Allah has written for you. Sometimes the barrier between you and what you pray for is simply the thing you refuse to release. Another part of responding to Allah's message is taking action. Faith is not only a feeling, it is movement. When Allah places a sign in your heart, inspires you to change, or opens the door for you, you must take steps toward it. Even small steps count. If you feel called to strengthen your connection to prayer, start with one sincere moment of worship. If you feel called to distance yourself from something harmful, begin with small boundaries. If a new opportunity opens, walk toward it with hope rather than fear. Action shows Allah that you are ready to receive what He has prepared for you. It is through action that blessings multiply, paths open, and clarity unfolds. Finally, responding to Allah's message means cultivating patience. Patience is more than waiting, it is waiting with grace, with hope, with trust. It is believing that even when nothing seems to be moving, something is happening behind the scenes because Allah never leaves a heart that seeks Him empty-handed. Patience is choosing to stay calm when the path is unclear. It is choosing surrender over anxiety. It is choosing belief over fear. Patience is not passive, it is an act of worship. It shapes your character, strengthens your faith, and polishes your soul. Every moment you endure with patience elevates you spiritually. Responding to the message, in the end, means aligning your heart with Allah's will. It means walking a path where every step is guided by trust, acceptance, action, gratitude, and surrender. It means understanding that your life is not defined by what you lose or what you gain, but by how you allow Allah's guidance to transform you. When you respond with sincerity, you begin to see life differently. You see obstacles as lessons, delays as protection, tests as elevation, stillness as clarity, and every moment as part of a conversation between you and your Creator. When you live with this awareness, your heart becomes rooted in peace no matter what happens around you, because you know that Allah is guiding you with perfect wisdom, perfect timing, and perfect love.